This is Dr. Fab from Pakistan Positive League. I'm the chairperson, and today I want to talk about your hypocrisy. I think you're a hypocrite if you're listening to my conversation right now. And why do I think you're a hypocrite? Because you can only talk about Gaza, you can only talk about Palestine, you can only talk about Al-Aqsa, you can only talk about Israel without doing anything tangible, without doing anything practical to try to safeguard the civilians of Gaza and Palestine. That is why you're a hypocrite. That is why all of you who are listening to me, who are not doing anything practical for Gaza, for Palestine, for Al-Aqsa, you're all hypocrites. Your words mean nothing. Your screams, your shouts, your political activism, your political protests, they mean nothing because they're not producing any results. They're not stopping Israel from its hegemonic agenda. So you're a hypocrite. Your words are like echoes. They have no result. The results that we're seeing are more and more funerals of unarmed civilians out of Gaza, out of the Great March. We are not seeing any salvage of humanity in Gaza, in Palestine. We're still seeing forceful occupation of the homes of Palestinians by Israelis and the expansionism of illegal settlements that is all officially indoctrinated in the Western country's constitution. So your words mean nothing because they are not stopping Israel from killing the kids in Gaza and Palestine. The oppression continues. The hardships continue. So nothing is really helping them. Your slogans, your politicization, you talk about it on every podium. You use it to get votes. You use it to gain sympathy. But at the end of the day, you are not doing anything, not even 1%, to make their lives better, to make their lives safer and secure. You're a hypocrite because you think that your country and your nation has the right to have weapons, to have an army, to have an air force, to have marines, to have seas, to have ships, and to have submarines. But Gaza and Palestine does not have that right, even though you believe that Palestine is a sovereign country. So you are a hypocrite. If you can go on the streets of the world and speak about the rights of Palestinians, but at the same time, you are scared to talk about their right of self-defense, their right as a sovereign nation to carry arms, to fight against aggression, to self-defend themselves, then you are a hypocrite. Then even if you are a humanitarian, even if you're Roger Waters or Norman Finkelstein or Medea Benjamin, you're a hypocrite. Because still you condone to the right of self-defense of Palestinians as a sovereign nation, you're a hypocrite. Because your inaction and your inability to support the self-defense right of Gaza is what has led to the massacre of thousands of children of Gaza and Palestinians. Because you failed to speak up in time to say that yes, we need the Peace Corps in Palestine, we need someone to save these people, these civilians from the aggression of IDF. We need their airspace closed down. We need their airspace tightly controlled and secured by their own air force against the airstrikes of Israel. We need their ground boundaries tightly protected by their own army that is weaponized as much as IDF is to protect these marchers, these protesters from the aggression of IDF. Because if you had spoken up about it maybe a year ago, that nurse who was trying to save lives at the border wouldn't have been shot by the IDF. The paramedics who have been killed, the journalists who have been killed, the schools that have been bombed, the hospitals that have been bombed, that would not have happened. So you're a hypocrite. Even if you're Bernie Sanders, I don't care, you're a hypocrite. Because if you're not going to support the right of self-defense, Palestine, as a nation, you're a hypocrite. I do not need your words, because your words are not helping. Your politicism is not helping. It may get you some votes, but it is not helping them. They're still very much oppressed because Israel is still very much aggressive. You say you want to protect every mosque in the Western countries. You think that an attack on the New Zealand mosque was an act of terrorism, or some of you think it was a crime. But when the IDF attacks Al-Aqsa and oppresses, beats up people who are trying to worship in their mosque, you do not have any words or actions to condemn these acts of terrorism by Israel that are being committed in Jerusalem right now. So this is your hypocrisy. What is it if not your hypocrisy? Gaza, Palestine needs an army like any other country. It has already been recognized as a sovereign nation by the United Nations. It needs an army that has weapons, that has subs, that has an air force with trained air pilots, combat fighter jets that can fight against any incursions, against any misadventures of Israel. Because we are losing lives, we are losing infrastructure, we are losing people over here, we are losing civilians over here because you're a hypocrite. I do not care if you spend 10 hours on the streets of your city talking about that Palestinian lives matter if you do not support their right, their human right of self-defense. They deserve to have an army. They're living in one of the most volatile zones of the world with unilateral aggression. And the reason why we're seeing so much of massacre is because they cannot defend themselves. Because you took that right away from them. Because you want to keep them as a victim. Because you want to keep on pitting them. You want them to be an object of mercy. I don't want your mercy. I don't want the people of Gaza to be victims anymore. I refuse to allow the people of Gaza, the people of Palestine to remain a victim of your mercy, a victim of Israelis' aggression. They are human beings. They are a sovereign nation. They have every right to defend their interests, to defend their lives, to defend the lives of their children, to defend their infrastructure, to defend their marines, to defend their seas, to defend their ground, to defend their farms, to defend their food, their air, their water. And if you're not willing to stand up with them, to speak up for their right of self-defense, then you are a hypocrite. No matter how much you think you care about Gaza, even if you're idiots, I don't care. Because your boycott and sanction campaign is not stopping Israel. Even if you believe in the proxy war through Hamas and Hezbollah, I don't care, because your proxy war is not helping Palestinians against Israel. It is not stopping Israeli aggression. What Palestine needs is an army as invincible as Pakistan army is. as Turkish army is, that nobody can dare to enter the airspace. Nobody can dare to attack, because they know if they try to attack, they will get a forceful, equal response. Till that is done, this will continue to happen. Israel is not going to listen to you. Israel is not going to listen to United Nations. Israel is not going to listen to even the US Congress. Obama tried, didn't work. Israel did not listen. It only got more and more aggressive. We're talking about organ harvestation of very important broadcast I'm doing right now, and it's probably one of the most important broadcasts I've ever done in my life on Gaza and Palestine, because this is the simple mathematics equation that we have been missing for the last 70 years since the occupation of Palestine by Israel. The two-nation theory of peace is already rejected by Israel. They want either Israel or Palestine. So, but you want the Palestinians to continue to believe in Palestine and Israel. So the result is funerals and funerals, dead bodies of journalists, of paramedics, of nurses, of doctors, of peaceful activists on the side of Gaza, including Rachel Corrie, who was a peaceful American activist too, was trying to do the right thing. So if your side, your one side, which is Israel, which is one party that you're trying to mediate peace between, is not willing to support the two-nation theory and wants complete obliteration of Palestine and wants to commit a genocide of an entire nation, why won't you allow Palestinians to respond to so much aggression that believes in their obliteration the right way? You have technically thrown the Palestinians in a wrestling ring and just given them stones, and at the same time you have given Israelis every weapon, every deadly weapon you can think of in the world to attack these Palestinians with. We are talking about the tactical nukes over here. We are talking about the tactical nukes that have been used in this war. We are talking about the white phosphorus. We're talking about every illegal, illegitimate weapon that you have allowed one side to use against the other side, believing that there can be a two-nation solution when your one side, the aggressor, is not willing to give its opponent that chance. So you are technically facilitating this genocide. That's what you're doing. That's why you're a hypocrite. Every peace mediator for the last 70 years has been nothing more, nothing less than a hypocrite in this biggest conflict of the world that has led to more than 10 serious war conflicts in the rest of the world. So it is about time, I tell my Palestinian friends, I tell my friends in Gaza, it's about time you realized that Israel wants to just kill you all. And UN is not going to do anything. Trudeau is not going to do anything. Jacinda is not going to do anything. UK Parliament is totally useless. They're impotent. And so is the European Union. You're on your own. You gotta do what you gotta do to survive. If you have to use bombs, if you have to build an army, if you have to do whatever you need to do, you gotta do it. Because you're human beings, you have the right of self-defense. The world is not gonna give it to you. Because they have been facilitating Israeli agenda. They want your genocide. They want your obliteration. They want you totally gone. They want your enslavement. They want your imprisonment. Their words are not curing your misery, your plight. Their words mean nothing if you continue to lift funerals of your children. So build an army. You have sovereignty. This is your land. This is your home. This is your airspace. Talking about the two-state solution of Israel and Palestine, this is a folklore that isn't presented by the United Nations that Israel does not believe in. Otherwise, Israel would have de-escalated. Israel wouldn't have been attacking Palestinians like it has been in its attempts to obliterate the entire nation, to commit a genocide. So before you tell the Muslims and before you tell the Palestinians about this two-state theory of yours and the pre-1967 borders, you need to try to convince Israelis first, because they have the aim of totally destroying every Palestinian, totally devastating the entire nation. They are on the mission of the genocide. And while you're trying to tell the world that you do believe in the two-state solution, you have technically made the people of Gaza, the people of Palestinians extremely vulnerable to violence, to onslaught of massacre, onslaught of aggression that's unilateral, and you have taken away their right of self-defense, which is their basic human right. So your peace talks are totally hypocritical, and they're only escalating and favoring the agenda of Israel, which is to obliterate the entire nation of Palestine. So tell us why we should believe in this two-nation theory when one of the parties itself, that is Israel, is not willing to believe in it. So when it comes to, then comes my next question, that if Israel is not willing to go by your statement of two-nation theory, and if it is going to be in Israel's words, either Israel or Palestine, why shouldn't Palestine respond with as much force as Israel is inflicting upon them? Because it is a question of survival. Israel believes in either Israel or Palestine. But you want Palestine to believe in Palestine plus Israel. So you want to escalate violence. But then what happens? Then you keep on getting these airstrikes, you keep on getting the massacres, you keep on getting these kidnappings, you keep on getting the organ harvestation, you keep on getting the oppression, you keep on getting all the bloodbath, all the funerals. The biggest parties, that is Israel, never supported it, never condoned to it, never went by the accord. You cannot have an agreement that is unilateral. If Palestinians sign the two-state solution, Israel has to sign it, Israel has to follow it, Israel should stop violating it. But what we're seeing is complete violation of this theory. Whenever Israel goes on an airstrike, whenever Israel causes and commits so much of massacre, so much of bloodbath in Gaza and against the Palestinians. So stop fooling yourself that the Messiah is going to come and save you. The Messiah is not going to come and save you. You have to save yourself. Nobody is going to do it for you. You have to build your own army like any other country of the world. I don't know, it's a Muslim or a non-Muslim country, it doesn't matter. Any other country of the world, you have the right to wear your army, that is your national guard, that protects your people from any kind of aggression. You have that right. Categorically, you are a sovereign nation for the United Nations Charter. You have the right to protect your civilians, to deter violence, even if you have to build nukes. I'm telling you, Israel is a nuclear nation. Pakistan had to build a nuclear bomb for deterrence against aggression of India. Today, India has gone to the space and started its anti-satellite space program. We will be coming up next with that. I think we've already probably started something on that line, but hopefully we will have a response to that, because we have to deter our enemy. What are you doing? What are you trying to deter your enemy with? Your tears are not deterring your enemy. And the tears of the world are not deterring your enemy either. The words, the hypocritical words, the resolutions of United Nations have not deterred your enemy. The proxy war of your allies have not deterred your enemy either. So stop doing that. What you need is an army, a national army with weapons, including nukes, to deter your enemy on the same lines as Pakistan has deterred India all these years. You gotta do it like any other country. And those of you who are in the humanitarian agencies, whether you're in the United Nations, whether you're in European Union, whether you're the President of US, whether you're the Prime Minister of Canada, or the Prime Minister of New Zealand, or you are the General Secretary of United Nations, I don't care, you're a hypocrite. Because you think that Israel has the right to self-defend itself, but Palestinians do not. So if Palestinians decided to have their army today, to have their guards that have weapons in their hands, standing on the border, protecting the marchers from any oncoming massacre, from any oncoming bullets, you're going to start calling them terrorists. You're going to say, oh, they're just terrorists. They deserve to be treated like that. The two-state solution, you are selling it to everybody, including the Muslims. But Israel is not willing to listen. Israel wants complete obliteration of Gaza, complete occupation of the territory. Talking about Rachel Corrie, who was an American activist who tried to do something practical for the Palestinians. She tried to save the children of the school. And what happened to her? She got bulldozed by the Israelis. And till today, we have still not been able to save the children going to school in Gaza and Palestine. They're still under as much of a threat as they were when she was shot down. So Israel is willing to go to any length, even kill, massacre American activists without weapons if it has to achieve its goal of occupying, controlling, enslaving, imprisoning millions of people, an entire civilization. So you are a hypocrite because you are not allowing the people of Gaza their basic human right of self-defense. Even animals of the jungle have that right, that if they're under threat, they can respond. If a lion or a wolf attacks another lion or a wolf, they respond. And this right has been given for the UN Charter to every country of the world. Every country of the world has the right of self-defense, including US, including Israel, including Europe, any of the European countries. But for some odd reason, out of some weird inconvenience, this right was not given to Palestine. For some reason, anybody who tries to respond to Israeli aggression is called a terrorist. Seriously, is this how you expect us to spend another 70 years of bloodshed? Another 70 years of massacre because it is so convenient for you to remain a hypocrite? that you will not support the right of self-defense of human beings sitting in Gaza, sitting in Palestine? You are a hypocrite, United Nations. You are a hypocrite. Every humanitarian agency, including Amnesty International, including Human Rights Watch, including every other humanitarian agency that has worked or tried to work within Gaza, within Palestine, or tried to mediate peace, you're a hypocrite. Because you're so scared to talk about the right of self-defense of these human beings. You're so scared of getting backlashed by Israeli lobbies. Because you know that if these people were allowed to defend themselves, then this will de-escalate Israel. Simple as that. Pakistan just went through a war with India. The only reason that forced India to de-escalate was because India realized it could not win this war against Pakistan. India realized that it will get a fitful response from Pakistan. An army for the Palestinians to save them against Israeli airstrikes, against Israeli aggression. An army of people who fight for Palestinians against the oncoming bullets of IDF. What's wrong about that? Why is it okay to do it in US against any oncoming aggression, against any incoming invasion? Why is it okay to do it for Canada? Why is it okay to do it for UK, for any other European country? But why is it not okay for Palestine's nation to have their own army? So you are a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite because you are not allowing these kids to have the right of self-defense. You have created, you're saying that Israel has made this prison. Who facilitated Israel to convert Palestine into a prison or Gaza into a prison? You did, because you allowed Israel to take away, to snatch the right of self-defense of all Palestinians against Israel. It was your silence, it was your inability to support this basic human right of self-defense that caused more and more escalation of violence against them. So you are as much responsible as anybody else, as any Zionist who believes in total obliteration of the Palestine. You're as much responsible because you do not support their self-defense right. You think, no, let them attack, but you're not going to do anything. If you did anything, it will be terrorism. It will make you look like a radical. It will make you look like Osama bin Laden. I mean, seriously, we are talking about 6-year-old children. We're talking about 12-year-old children who are literally getting kidnapped from every other household. We're looking at the homes of Palestinians that are being invaded, forcefully occupied by these illegal settlers. We're talking about these innocent paramedics. We're talking about these innocent journalists wearing vests saying press, who get showered with the bullets of Israel because there's nobody standing on the side of Gaza, on the side of Palestine to counter those oncoming bullets. So Israel got the license to shower all the bullets at once over this cohort of population, and this population has no right to respond, even for the humanitarian agencies who think they're supporting Palestinians. You are all hypocrites. This is hypocrisy. This is a dirty game. This is not acceptable. These are totally double standards. That you're allowing so much violence to take place in a mosque in Jerusalem, Al-Aqsa, by Israelis, all while you're showering these words of sympathy and kindness for the victims of the New Zealand mosque massacre. Whom are you trying to fool? If you cannot speak up for Al-Aqsa, your words mean nothing. You're a hypocrite. I don't care how much praise there is for Jacinda. Netanyahu is a terrorist also because he's been shooting at the worshippers sitting in the Al-Aqsa mosque. How is that any different? That is state-sponsored terrorism. This is extremist, radical, fundamentalist terrorism that Tehran did in the New Zealand mosque. But over here you have in Al-Aqsa state-sponsored, Israeli-sponsored terrorism. Why won't you speak up about it? What is stopping you? You're nothing but a hypocrite. You're not a humanitarian. If you think that self-defense is only for Israel and not for Palestinians and not for Gaza, they are not allowed to bear any arms. They're not allowed to have their own army. They're not allowed to have their own air force, their own subs, their own ships, their own ground army to protect these marchers, these peaceful marchers from any aggression. I mean, seriously, you're all hypocrites. This is all hypocrisy. You're not sympathetic towards the cause of Gaza and Palestine. You're just being a hypocrite. You are indirectly facilitating the escalation of Israel. That's what you're doing. Reality bites, but that's what the truth is. That you are indirectly feeding into the aggression of Israel. Terrorism against the Indian forces. But you forgot to remember why Adil, the guy who did the suicide bombing, did that. That guy had been under the arrest of the Indian army for a while, and he was heavily oppressed, heavily tortured. It was enforced disappearance. I mean, he was tortured to the point that he decided to enact on these lines to defend his people, to defend himself. He did not attack the civilians, he attacked the forces only because he wanted to defend himself. You do not want them to deter, but you will not speak up when your favorite buddies, including India, including Israel, continue to escalate violence against the Kashmiris, against the Palestinians. Everybody is allowed self-defense in this world, by the way. If you go to, in US, if you go to someone's house, if you intrude, and the person who lives in that house has a gun and he shoots you because he thinks that you could be stealing or you could be doing something, you're a criminal. You know what? The law is no questions will be asked. He was an intruder, he was trying to kill, and the person tried to defend himself. The end of the story. It is not unconstitutional in US to attack, to kill an intruder in a house. But you made it unconstitutional for the Palestinians, for the Kashmiris to defend themselves by having an organized national army of their own that they can use to protect their children, to protect their civilians against the aggression of the Indian forces, against the aggression of the Israeli forces, who are already violating the Geneva Conventions, who are already rejecting all UN resolutions. What do you have to lose here? I don't even understand. They have already rejected all your resolutions, all your Geneva Conventions. If you tell the Palestinians and the Kashmiris, go ahead and bear arms against these forces, what do you have to lose over here? They already don't give a damn about what you say. You're petrified. The word you used was about Israel. Israel may have committed war crimes against Palestine. Seriously? In the last year, the one thing you came up with is a report a human rights report that you say Israel may have committed. What the? You're not even sure that Israel has committed war crimes against for God's sake, 70 years, and you're still using the word may have? This is how scared you are of Israel, and you think you can mediate peace between Israel and Palestine? Can you get rid of your fear of Israel first and your fear of India first before you even think about trying to bring about peace?